Let's speak now to Fezeka Nkomonya, Eastern Cape MEC for Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture. MEC, thank you very much for joining us. Why are there so many taverns and so few sport and recreational facilities?
Good evening, Sally. Good evening to the viewers at home. Indeed, the President is correct. If you tally the number of taverns that are in existence in our townships, as opposed to the existence of sporting facilities, the number of sporting facilities and recreational facilities is fewer. Clearly, this is profit-driven, Sally, because taverners out there are out to make money, and unfortunately, they intend to make profit even by allowing young patriots to enter into their taverns and sell alcohol to them.
Yeah, so obviously profit is a big motivator. People will open a tavern to make money, and those who don't mind bending the rules are going to sell to underage kids. And we're even hearing allegations that drugs are also available for sale. So that's a massive problem that has to be addressed. Let's focus on the problem of not enough recreational facilities. Why don't we have more facilities? I mean, the President has flagged it. The President says he himself is going to work with provincial and local authorities to make this happen. What gets in the way of setting up more sports facilities for young children to use?
It's true, Sally, that there are fewer facilities, and those that are in existence are not kept. There's no upkeeping of them. There's no maintenance of them. Sally, you'd notice that the Department of Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture does not have a mandate to construct sports facilities. This is done by local municipalities through what is called Municipal Infrastructure Grant, and in metros it is done through a grant that is called Urban Settlement Development Grant. Mm-hmm. So there are facilities in place, particularly in the Buffalo City municipality. There are also art centers in and around. We have one in Gompo, we have libraries. But I suppose, Sally, we are failing as government and as leaders of young people to ensure that we make these young people aware and encourage them to partake in these sporting and recreational activities.
The problem is, of course, that even when these sports facilities are built, and I'm going to show pictures now to our viewers of what happened at Enoch and Gijima municipality last year, just before the election. It was trumpeted as this wonderful sports facility. It cost many millions of rands. This is the Lesserton sports field, and it really amounted to very little. It was slammed as possibly being money corruptly used. No one could really use those facilities. You have said, of course, that in many cases it's the metros and it's the municipalities who make those decisions. But then what is your role as an MEC in charge of sports and recreation if you can't keep an eye on what's going on at the local level and you can't intervene when you see problems like this or even just a lack of proper facilities?
The MEC for COGTA is investigating the issue of the Lesserton, but I must indicate, Sally, that there are facilities that are built by municipalities that are of high standards. I have been to Ndabankulu and I have seen a sport facility that has a swimming pool, an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and I've been to Matatiele and many other municipalities.
Yeah, but they're not enough.
Our role as the Department of Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture is to advise on the... Yes, I agree, Sally, they're not enough. And we are engaging municipalities to understand that instead of using the money that is ring-fenced for construction of sports facilities for MIG and use it for construction of halls and provision of water, we need to work together, as the President has said, to ensure that these facilities are constructed and they are kept and maintained.
So, we just slightly lost the line. That's why I jumped in. But what I heard you say is that your job as the MEC, sort of looking out over the whole province, is to also advise those municipalities. Do you think that you've not done enough, bearing in mind that it's taken the President and this awful tragedy to highlight that there simply aren't enough facilities in this particular area?
We have been indicating, Sally, in the previous interviews as well, that we have not done enough. And as a department, we are not folding arms. Through the MEC's charity run, we have managed in a space of a year being assisted by private sector to construct 5 sporting facilities. 2 have been constructed in Alwal North, 1 being constructed in Cholomqa, as well as Mbiza, as well as Butterworth. We're doing this, Sally, because we are off the. I am happy that we are going to work together, coordinated by the Premier as well as assisted by the President, in order to ensure that we construct more facilities and maintain the existing ones.
So obviously Scenery Park is going to be a big focus because it's clear that these young people don't have a lot, which is one of the reasons why they might be more vulnerable to being lured in to partying, etc., because we know that kids who are passionate about sport or the arts really get involved in that, and that becomes their identity, and they're often not that keen to go partying because they've got other priorities. So how are you going to be involved in making sure the President's call is answered? What are the things on your to-do list that you really feel you can make a difference with?
Since the tragic accident, Sally, I have committed that I'll be making visits to the Scenery Park and the surrounding areas so that we can audit the number of existing sports facilities and their condition, working together with the Buffalo City municipality. But also I have already started engaging the private sector so that we can be able to construct sports facilities. The facility that the viewers are seeing now is a sport facility, the stadium we were having a funeral in. So that's one of those facilities that I'll be doing an audit on. And we will be working with the municipality to ensure that we upgrade these facilities so that our kids are kept active and doing recreational activities. But also, I have already spoken to the departmental officials and indicated to them that we must start budgeting for the construction of a library, if not at Enyobeni Tavern, but closer to Enyobeni Tavern, because a lot of these kids were school-going children, and therefore we ought to, in memory of them, we ought to construct something enhance starting for others as well.
All right. Well, let's hope that we can catch up with you in a few months' time and you can just give us an update on what your audit finds, how much money you've been able to raise. So it's interesting because you say that the Metro and the municipality is ultimately responsible. You have to work hand in hand with them. But I would imagine that your job is also to speak out very loudly if things don't change. Do we have a commitment from you that not only are you going to continue to audit what is happening in municipalities, which we know are by and large in terrible situations financially and corruption-wise, will you make a commitment this evening that you will speak out loud and strong if you see the change is not happening quickly enough?
Not only am I making a commitment to speak out loud, I'm also making a commitment to act. As I have indicated earlier that we are not folding arms as a department. We are also engaging the private sector. I have started already to engage the alcohol making production companies so that we can be able to change the lives of those that are young in our province. But just yesterday we were welcoming Tete, and the deputy mayor made a commitment that we will be starting to work together in enrolling facilities throughout Buffalo City and maintaining the existing ones.
All right, MEC, let's stay in touch. I'd love to hear about the progress that you're making to make a real difference for the youngsters in particular of these areas. Thank you very much for your time this evening. Now, that is Fezeka Nkomonye, Eastern Cape MEC for Sports, Recreation, Arts and Culture, making a strong commitment this evening to really make a difference regarding those sport and recreational facilities.